welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here tonight with a new session, session 27 of Evermore le Masquerade. This is a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that has been ongoing for some time. It is set in a homebrew world of mine called Rostveen, and in particular, it is based in the kingdom known as Gerdes, which is a blending of the Baroque periods of Spain, France, and Venice, with a little bit of Orlais from the Dragon Age franchise kind of thrown on top. Tonight's episode is called Castille de Borjido, Part 1. Because tonight, we're going to go off trail a little bit here, and we're going to begin a dungeon crawl this evening. So the format might look a little different, but hopefully the flavor is still the same. Same squishy center. Before we get started, I'm going to give the same warning that I give out on the beginning of all of my games, and that is foul language and mature subject matter are an issue for you, then this is probably not a great place for you to spend any time. Particularly this game. While there will never be any explicit sex depicted in this game, we'll get about as close as we can, because that's just a part of this culture. So deal with it or not. You know where the button is. So for those of you who are hanging out with us and are into that kind of thing, then welcome. I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, plug anything that they might have going on, tell you where you may be able to find them on the internet, and then I think we're going to get started and play some D&D. So, first up is Karen.
Hello everyone, Karen, also known as Smith and Gears. You can find me here. You can find me over at Mini Train Domain on Twitch. That's pretty much where I am all the time. Tonight, I get to play Chimera Diego Ruiz y Gonzaga, who has very, very many other names, and I'm just not going to go through all them all because it'll just, we want to start playing and stuff, so, it'll just take too long. So, with that, can't wait to get started. Passing it to Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin. I have nothing to plug as always. I just can't seem to fix my hair. So I'll just be focusing on that for the next 15 minutes while I try to listen to Jeremy and everyone else's introductions and everything. And with that, I'm really excited to be playing tonight. I might be kind of up and down. I got my wireless headphone on today. I might be busy on semi-baby duty, but I'll be here and listening and chiming in when necessary. Super excited to play Guillaume again, and I will pass it off to Em.
Hey everyone, I'm Em. I am going to be playing Sylvie Levine, and I'm just really excited to get back into it. So with that, I'll pass it on to Matt.
Hello everyone, I'm Matt. I run a channel called A Fistful of Dice, and I make RPG books over at Absolute Tabletop. And tonight, as always, I'm going to be playing Loxley LaCroix, and I've heard some rumor that there's going to be some potential delving of some possible dungeons this evening, so I'm very excited about that. And yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Kenya.
Hey everyone, I'm Kenya, Acer Sin on the interwebs. I'm going to be playing Vera, who is the bardic madam of a high-class brothel, and she's not so excited about the dungeon delving and the ickiness that comes with it, but she is excited and very worried about one of her ladies who was kidnapped. So rescuing that poor woman and her unborn child is top priority for Vera. I'm excited to get going though. And I'm sure everything is going to be just fine. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Yes, everything is peachy keen. Walk in the park. So, I think that is all of the business we got to cover. So I think we can get this party started. Let me check and make sure that I loaded the right thing. I did. I'm so smart. Sometimes. Okay. Time for war. We are taken back to the early days of Gerdessi's rise to prominence. Soldiers marching into battle under the shade of a forest of polearms and a canopy of banners. Stirred into the air by hundreds of booted feet, dust is illuminated in swirling shafts of dazzling light. The army is called to a halt as the enemy host appears on the far side of the pitch. A young man, unarmored and wide-eyed, makes his way forward through the ranks until he bursts through the front line to stand at the elbow of a resplendent man in golden armor, shining like the sun itself. We see his terrified face staring out across the battlefield as he takes in this dark and sinister force arrayed before them. And there, situated at the center of their front line, manifested the antithesis of the leader who stood beside him. Where sunlight showered one in reverence and splendor, the other seemed to consume all light that dared to come close enough. I don't understand, the boy managed. How is the beast able to walk in the daylight? The golden general, his unfamiliar face now visible to us, lowered the visor on his helm before replying, "It does not matter. It is the last time he will gaze upon the light of our Lord Pelor. Did you fetch my sword?" "Of course, General Borjido," comes the reply, before the gleaming blade is drawn and the charge forward is called. We find the group of you leaving the Borjido family vineyard behind you. Now ahead of you lies the entrance into the mountains, referred to as the Stiletto Pass. Already you can see a low, dense fog that seems to cling to the ground here. And it's almost mirrored by the storm clouds that kind of cling to this particular section of the topography. Ahead of you, you can see that the land starts to rise pretty sharply and narrow towards this pass that will eventually take you into the mountains. What is the current conversation and mood like amongst the group of you currently?
Vera is... she's kind of... I want to say quiet, but it's more in like a reserved and kind of pulled back manner. Like she's got something on her mind that she's kind of... it's pretty obvious to anyone watching her that she's rolling something over and over and over, and she occasionally kind of looks up at the sky and kind of clucks her tongue as she's sitting there thinking about things, and she'll eventually start humming a very kind of soft and very kind of want to say calming, but almost kind of lo-fi, like just the sound for the sake of having the sound as we're traveling.
Anybody else?
I think Guillaume is honestly feeling like a little better than he's felt the last couple days, um, because he looks like he's like there's a confidence about him, but it's not the normal like arrogant confidence. There's like we've actually tested ourselves recently and kicked ass. And even though things have been really awful and like he's still reeling from that, that strange demon encounter, um, it's feeling like they're finally kicking back and hitting the bad guys where it hurts. And I think there's like a little extra spring in his step. And oddly, I think his more natural confidence results in him being a little less talkative. Like I think he's not filling the silences as much. He's just kind of appreciating them.
I think Sylvie is busily just working. It looks like she has these like metal tools that she's using to augment fabric on her body, which looks very strange. But she is making these adjustments, these fine-tuned adjustments to her armor that she is wearing. So she's very focused on that right now.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of lost in thought amongst ourselves at this because of the gravity of the thing that we're about to take on, and what we have already done. And I know for Chimeran, he's also kind of lost in what had happened just previously, and the fact that so newly joined, but now leaving behind the son that he'd never thought he'd see. And that's sitting heavy.
I think Locks would be similarly lost in thought. Um, the thing that's dominating his mind is just the feeling of being pulled towards something much greater than himself. For as long as he can remember, he's just sort of been surviving. And now he's kind of fallen in with these people that are not friends. This is like a family that they've built, and he feels driven to do this important thing, something more important than just getting by, maybe for the first time in his life. And there have been other things that have driven him, primarily driven by anger and a need to correct a wrong. But those things are slowly being pushed to the side in favor of this mission, this duty that has fallen to these people. And so Lox is kind of mulling this over, and it's a strange feeling. And I think it scares him just a little bit to be involving himself in something that feels so big and so important.
There's the sound of kind of rolling thunder from this gathering of dark clouds that seems to kind of hang near the mountain peaks ahead of you. I need all of you, please, to make a perception roll. Ooh, Chimeran. Damn eyeballs. A 0. Amazing.
I have -1 and I rolled a 1, so
That's fantastic.
This bodes well.
Yep. Okay. So, Vera, you spot something that kind of catches some movement out of the corner of your eye up ahead on kind of the right side of the trail off a little ways. It looks like there's, you know, kind of like a little tiny, like, brambly bush of some kind, and you see a piece of fabric that is kind of blowing in the wind, that's kind of coming out of the pass. That's kind of what drew your eye that direction. Chimeran, around the same point, you notice this little flagging piece of cloth, but in addition, you actually notice what looks like a campsite from a few nights ago. Like, you know, all the tents and things are gone, but you can see where it looks like there was a gathering of people that had stopped here on the side of the road.
I think at this point, maybe I was just ahead of Locks or either just behind, but I would have like slow down to have him catch up so that we're kind of abreast. And I would in low tone like let him know what I have just seen and that it's not an active campsite at this moment, but somebody had been there and we should be careful.
Locks just completely lost in thought, but he sort of catches Chimeran's eye and he trots up to her, or trots up to him on the horse, and he looks over. Ooh, good eye. I missed that completely. He kind of looks. Are there any like banners or sigils or anything like denoting any sort of like, is this like just a small little encampment, just people, just travelers basically, or is there like a
Yeah, so there's not a ton of evidence kind of left behind, aside from this little scrap of fabric. If Vera investigates that any closer, you would recognize it. There was a particular kind of shade of dress that, what is her name? Don't catch me lying. The missing girl, the missing woman from your Castille.
Annabella.
Annabella,
her name
thank
is.
you.
Mm-hmm.
That's her name. That you can see the little threads of this scrap are the same color.
Yeah. Vera would absolutely go and investigate it, and she'd grab the scrap and she'd kind of lean down off the horse and pick it up, and she sits there and holds it and just kind of rubs it between her fingers for a few moments before she turns to the group and trots back over to where everyone's gathered up. It's hers. It's Annabelle's.
How would it get on this tree? They were being carted in a covered wagon, were they not? In a caged box?
I mean,
Do you,
I don't know. She's a smart girl.
would she have done this on purpose, or do you think something's happened?
I'm gonna hope that she did it on purpose. Because if something has happened, I'm gonna hope that maybe when we travel a little further down the road, we'll find another one. Maybe she's somehow leaving them. He said looks like there was a camp here. This is a multiple day travel with a lot of very pregnant women who need to urinate a lot. Maybe she's okay. Jeremy, looking around, she's actually going to say to the group, she's going to say, maybe we could look for some footprints, something. I mean, if we see footprints running from where I found it, then we have a better idea what happened.
Yeah, anybody who would like can roll a survival check. All right, Ranger, time for you to shine. Ranger sitting with the cleric over there. Oh, 5.
I guess I'll roll for it, but I'll have to get incredibly lucky. Nope.
Where's the thing pop up? My thing is all. Sorry, new computer setup
No.
is
You're all good.
being weird.
5. All right. I see you, Austin.
I lost track of the thing. Okay.
We're all counting on you, Vera. It's all on you.
You know, I don't know if I've ever actually been in
You're the
the woods
tracker.
before. This is the most trees I've ever seen in one place.
23.
Okay. All right. So Vera busts out her tracking skills.
Guillaume's just like, boy, this ground is really dirty. That's what I notice.
It's less tracking and more so, you're in a brothel and people, they walk around in their bare feet all the time. And, you're constantly, just looking for, yeah, anyways.
So
What I'm hearing is Vera's obsessed with feet, but I'll keep that.
it's a house of kink. Who knows? You look around, and for the most part, none of you really see much. The ground here is already starting to get pretty rocky. There's not a lot of like soft, wet soil to leave a lot of signs of passing. But Vera, you notice that there are quite a few footprints that are kind of in and around this area. None that seem like they're like leaving the area. Your guess is that where you found this cloth was a little bit away from where most of the foot traffic seems to be, and that definitely seems to be what the purpose was. That this was where they were using the restroom effectively. But the thing that you notice beyond a doubt is that there are wagon tracks that lead from the road to this spot and then back to the road. And the wagon that traveled here recently was heavy.
She'll kind of point this out to everyone. So it looks like they stopped to camp, use the restroom, and either she was smart and she left it for us to follow, or
You don't have to end that sentence.
we just got lucky and it snagged.
Either way, it's confirmation that they're alive.
And that we're on the right trail.
Exactly. Let's take it as the good omen it is.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Are we going to be camping before we get there?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how long we've already been traveling versus how far we have left to
Yeah.
go.
So y'all left Manchalona this morning. You would have traveled a good distance, especially with the skirmish that you had at the vineyard. You would probably be nearing dinner time or so.
Then yeah, I think that would make sense to. So we want to be fully rested. We want to stay as close as we can in tracking them, but I think it would make sense to rest.
Yeah, and I don't want to come upon them necessarily in the night either. I'd like it to be daytime.
And you said it seems like we're only a few days behind them. It's not like, it's almost like we've gained some ground on them.
Yeah, it seems
A little
like
bit.
a few days, maybe a week. Again, it's somewhat hard to tell. The ground here isn't super revealing for those kinds of details. But you think also that there's not a lot of traffic that comes this way.
About how long would it have been at this point since she was, because we were at the Castillo when she was taken. Like, how long has it been since that?
Probably about 2 weeks,
Okay,
give or take.
that's kind of where I was having it in my head.
Yeah.
So, okay, so yeah, I wonder why it's so strange that they would have the ability to have a shadow monster come and abduct her, but then load her onto a cart and camp in the woods. Just don't know what we're dealing with here.
The best I know and can think is that kind of magic, teleportation magic, portal type magic, that kind of control of I mean, it's got to take a lot out of somebody. Maybe it's limited use. There's so many women, maybe they don't have enough to deal with all of them.
It's true.
So it's the most convenient way.
Either way, we should rest and press on as soon as we can.
Okay. Is there anything that is discussed or done at camp that evening? And is there a watch?
There definitely will be a watch.
Always a watch. Yeah.
Especially if the DM is like, "Are you guys setting watches?" Like, yeah, of course we are.
Duh.
We always were.
Especially
We're
since,
just waiting for you to bring it up.
we lit a vineyard on fire and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And stuff.
Y'all can probably even like still see the fire from that, especially because you're traveling like up in elevation, and as the like darkness kind of falls, you can probably see the flames and the fire from the vineyard.
That
Pretty
actually
well.
is very comforting. Yeah, burn,
I
baby,
think-
burn.
I'm going to insist on no campfire. I think Guillaume is going to be very insistent on that and offer to warm everyone's food up through prestidigitation, so at least you can have a hot meal, even if we don't cook it. Trying to draw the attention to us if we're on a hill where right above where we just did a massive arson.
All right. What is your watch order?
I'll take first.
Okay.
I think I don't mind doing. I believe I'm half elf. So I don't mind doing the late watch, the one in the middle of the night.
I'll set up with Locks and do first watch with him.
I can
I'll
do
do
the
the
last.
Oh.
Oh.
You can do the last. No, that's fine.
Well, I mean, how
I'll do
long
the middle.
of a watch we talking? If it's a 3-hour watch, you need 2 people. So one person on the darkest section of the night and 2 on
I'm fine.
the ends.
I'm fine with the darkest section. I have dark vision, so that would be
Perfect. I do not.
Neither do I. Just human things.
Yep. I don't even think I have light as a cantrip.
All right. So you bed down and settle in for the evening. The wind coming out of the mountains is consistent. Not constant, but consistent. And seems to carry with it this kind of chill that you can't really entirely shake. It just kind of almost lives at the base of your spine. And every once in a while, you'll feel it kind of crawl up the center of your back towards the base of your skull. You hear the howling of wolves in the distance. You know, first from one side and then the other. You think you hear voices. Sometimes you think you might hear like a few pebbles kind of like cascading down from a higher place somewhere. At one point, Chimeran, you think you might hear a baby crying somewhere far, far away. It's a very unsettling night of sleep. It's difficult to get comfortable and stay comfortable here. There's a presence here that you can feel. But eventually, you're able to sleep. And in the morning, you're able to rouse and break camp and set back out on the trail. The horses are visibly troubled this morning. They seem reticent to continue. And through the day, you keep thinking that you're seeing something, possibly wolves, that are stalking you on either side of kind of the ridge line of the path that you kind of now find yourselves making your way towards. Oh, I got it. You see up ahead of you, through the fog, the road that must be referred to as the Stiletto Pass.
Because you can only wear it if you're wearing real sexy high heels.
Exactly.
Look.
Right. As the cloak of thunderclouds overhead drinks up the last vestiges of sunlight in the Stiletto Pass before it disappears beneath the cloud cover, its dagger-like crags are traced in tormenting scarlet, as if blood running down the knife's edge. Despite being well into spring, winter seems reluctant to give up its hold in this place. Icicles cling to the gnarled corpses of trees and broken remnants of previous trespassing. chilling wind that seems to flow down from the pass ahead does little to dissipate the fog clinging close to the ground, moving it just enough to swirl like a nest of vipers. So you can see ahead of you this path that you're on becomes almost the only place that you can even like traverse. The sides of it seem to kind of fall away into these ravines on either side of the path, as the path kind of rises steadily upwards and kind of snakes back and forth, almost like a switchback. What I would like is for each one of you, please, to tell me something, to describe something that you see, hear, feel, that puts you on edge, that gives you the heebie-jeebies, if you will.
I think it's not too far into like going up this path when it's like we turn around one of the switchbacks and we just kind of make our way around it when there's a noise, like a loud rustling, and then this part of the sky kind of almost like erupts with this bunch of black birds that take off at our approach and just kind of caw and scatter in the sky, startling at least one of us.
I imagine that Sylvie hears the wind and the echoing of the wind through the rocks. And when you hear that sound for long enough, and if there are any dead trees, you can hear them squeaking and groaning in the wind. Soon enough, that starts to sound like human voices and whisperings. And so I imagine that this weird cacophony, like this weird sense of unease passes over Sylvia as she hears these like whisperings and human voices. And all of a sudden, one of these dead, desiccated trees snaps. But it doesn't make that typical sound of wood breaking. For whenever Sylvie thinks back to hearing this tree, she could have sworn that it was the sound of screaming as it cracked and snapped and comes sliding down this rock face that they're kind of weaving in and out of.
As we're kind of traveling and we're hearing all of these voices and this wind and this tree that Sylvie's explained, and this happens and the screaming, and as it falls down the side of the mountain, and we're probably a good ways up now, we all turn and kind of look back and to follow it with our eyes. And as we do, it's because of this tree, we turn around and look behind us, and we realize that as we were walking up the path, there was a cave that we kind of passed. Okay, you pass little caves as you're walking through mountains. It's no big deal. What we didn't realize when we were close up to it, that we can now see since we're above it, that it wasn't just a cave. There was a small series of caves kind of right next to each other. And with the sun kind of peeking in through these mountain peaks and this tree kind of crashing down and clearing a branch, we look behind us, and this cave we passed this grouping, maybe we're just nervous. We know what we're heading into is dangerous, but they almost form, yeah, no, the longer you look, the more you see it. They form a skull. And you can see the eyes and the nose cavity and where the mouth of the cave is, as we're kind of watching and we're getting the final screams of this tree as it falls. There's a corpse of a deer half eaten right in front of the mouth of the cave. This chill kind of flies up Vera's spine, and she looks and says something under her breath and turns to the group. The sooner we're out of here, the better.
I think this is it's a very simple thing that off settles him, but walking through one section of this path, the echoes of every footfall, they're amplified by this sheer rock all around. But as he takes another step forward, he starts to realize, like, it sounds like the echoes are wrong. Like, it's something like the rhythm of the echo doesn't line up with the rhythm of the footstep, and maybe there's an extra beat in there every once in a while. And something about it sounds, it feels as if something else is nearby making these sounds that are also echoing, but it's only been here that this echo has been so strong, and so it feels like whatever it is close.
Uh, Locks, his breath kind of catches in his throat as he sees sort of in the distance this very familiar tree, this olive tree, and it looks very out of place here. Looks like it's not supposed to be here. The white of its bark and sort of the shape of it and the leaves, uh, it does not match the rest of the kind of like gnarled skeletal trees that are sort of dotting this path. And is this very strange feeling of familiarity as he looks upon what is unmistakably the olive tree from his childhood, this tree that he has spent so much time around and under. But as he draws closer to it, he sees that no, this is not the olive tree from my childhood. This is a sick, dead tree. This is a tree that is infested with parasites. This is a tree that is rotting from the inside, and the sap that is coming from it and dripping down it and staining it is dark, dark red. And the leaves are dry and brittle, and they pile at the trunk of it, and there they get wet and sodden and sticky with the sap and become this stinking, oozing mass of dead plant matter. And this tree, the closer Lox gets to it, the sicklier and more unfamiliar it becomes to him, and until he's actually forced to kind of tear his gaze away just as he sees bugs emerging from it, insects crawling from inside of it, and he pulls his gaze away and just fixes his eyes forward as he continues to ride.
All of you, please take a point of inspiration and roll animal handling for me. All right. Hey, okay. All right. So everybody manages to keep your horses kind of on task, to keep them from trying to force you to turn around. They are, pulling at the reins and shaking their head from side to side, and every once in a while they'll kind of pull up and kind of like stomp their feet into the dirt. But all of you manage to patiently coax them onward, kind of forcing them through this hesitation that they seem to be having, and you continue on. As you near the base of Castille de Borjido, you observe its towers, piercing the dense fog in defiance of the mountain peaks surrounding it. The path you travel becomes more a switchback as it steadily climbs in elevation towards the castle's drawbridge. Suddenly, you all become acutely aware of how high you already are, and how far you would fall if you wandered off of this narrow road. As you continue forward, you see, as if brushed aside and forgotten by time, skeletons of hundreds of soldiers that lie mingled among the rocks that line the sides of the pathway, their broken banners and their weapons nearly indistinguishable from their bones. We, as a bank of fog rolls across our vision, we now find ourselves in the same place, but different time. We recognize some of the banners and the uniforms from before, but these are not discarded, broken fragments on the side. Like the very beginning of this episode, we see them deployed in force, in mass. We have flashbacked yet again to a different time and a different kind of war this time. What I would like is for each one of you to please tell us about one of the soldiers that we see as your battalion takes part in this doomed assault on the vampire's castle some 300 years ago.
I think the first one we see is it's kind of the classic. It's maybe a 13-year-old boy. He's probably the third day in his life that he's had a sword strapped to his hip. Um, he's like a scrawny kid, basically. His armor doesn't fit him. He seems terrified, but his uh, his father, also fighting in the same battle, is urging him on along next to him. Two probably conscripts from the same little village. His father's sword is a little nicer and a little, his armor fits a little better. But clearly, these are not soldiers. These are men who were just rounded up to because this needed to be done.
There is a figure kind of near the front of the battle, out in front of everything else, but not on the front lines, not standing there fighting. Instead, this one is off in the trees, kind of 3/4 of the way up a tall tree, hanging off, and kind of just deftly, like one hand on the back of the tree and legs positioned just so to give support and be able to kind of maintain this. And they're looking out in front and kind of peering through and trying to see what's going on and looking down below and behind them, checking on the soldiers that are coming up this front line that's on their way. And there's kind of this breath and a sigh as they find a thicker branch to be able to really sit on for a moment and pull the hood down. And this hair is spiky and it's kind of this dirty, uh, like a dirty blondish red kind of strawberry, but the dirt is actual dirt. It's not the hair color. And their face has looks like soot or maybe like mud or something all over their face. And she sits there, this young woman who has obviously cut all of her hair with a knife of some sort. There's no consistent length. There's longer pieces, shorter pieces, and it's frazzled. And she sits and contemplates how she's gotten herself into this and this vision of being at home and an argument with her mother and her father. No, there's still time for you to wed. You need to wed. You're not going, you can't go and you can't fight. You're a woman that's not expected of you. They won't allow you in. It's dangerous. They won't allow you. And just over and over the same conversation over and over until finally one day as she's wandering through the market, she hears a bunch of men talking about how they're going out with this next group that's heading to meet up for this battle to raid this vampire's home and hopefully free the land of just the oppressiveness of this monster that's been here. And it's right there holding a basket of bread and some eggs and a section of meat that she purchased for her family. She kind of squares her shoulders off and looks at the men that are standing there in the group and slides over by them and leans against the stand and starts looking at some fruit at a stand as she listens to where they're all meeting. And it's that moment, that pivotal change in her life where she decided, tonight I'm leaving. She sighs to herself in that tree as she sits on the branch and runs her hand through that chopped hair and takes that hood and flips it back up, kind of looks around, sees another tree, gauges the distance is probably about right, and like a squirrel just floats through the air as she lands on the next branch.
We
Anybody else?
see an older, rough man, obviously weathered and used to the battles. This is not something he has not done before, but this battle, this particular foray is decidedly different from anything that they have been sent to do before. And there's, not going to say confusion, but there is that little bit of doubt in his eyes of whether or not this was a wise plan. But it's also something he cannot show to the others, as he must show them the courage that they need to keep going, to do this, to follow him. He's responsible for his regiment, and this is what they're doing.
This young woman is marching near the front of this battalion. Her gear is piecemeal, sort of slapped together. None of it fits quite right. It looks like it's likely pieces from 5 different suits of armor. And none of it is fitting well enough to give her any amount of protection. But the weight of the spear in her hand and the shield on her arm is giving her a little bit of comfort. She and the others in her line are prisoners, lawbreakers, people who would otherwise be serving sentences in prison or heading to the gallows, but they have been given an opportunity to serve and to fight in exchange for their freedom. She made some mistakes when she was younger, and now she has an opportunity to see the outside of a jail cell. But as she looks upon the task in front of her, this castle sort of rising up in this canyon like a dagger sort of stabbed into it, she actually longs for that prison cell, for the straw mat that she sleeps on. She's not sure if she's made the right choice, because there's this overwhelming foreboding feeling, this dread that is telling her that she is going to die here in this canyon.
At juxtaposition to the woman we just saw with very piecemeal armor, we see a man, tall, blonde hair, armor way too clean and polished to be used at any point. Expensive, just like the sword at his side, some long family heirloom. And he walks with this confident stride. He doesn't see the skull cave. He doesn't see the death and decay. He doesn't hear the screams through the canyon, because he is too preoccupied with thinking about how good it is going to be when he returns and he can drink and indulge as a hero. And that is all he thinks. He doesn't even see the masses being slaughtered, the blood being spilled in gallons. And it is not until he is at the end, he has been shorn through with teeth and claws, and he sees his guts laying out in front of him, that he might not be returning home to a hero's feast. That he might have let his ego, hubris get in the way, thinking of the end, thinking of the win, before he even started the fight. And he just has enough time, as he breathes his last, to just feel that pang of loneliness and regret before he falls lifeless.
It is he, in fact, that becomes the feast, as these ravenous wolves and dark creatures tear and gnash upon his insides. We see familiar shadows swipe swaths through the ranks and files of these gathered individuals, these things that we recognize as Diombra, these living shadows, these shadows of many hands. As they pass through, they seem to be snatching individuals up, enveloping them into their darkness, and then reappearing into the shaded crags and crevices upon high, from where these soldiers then fall to their demise, or are dropped at the feet of ravenous creatures who devour them. These slaughterings continue, fighting on. These soldiers try desperately to keep their morale, to press forward, to do the righteous thing. But this is clearly not a situation where good is going to triumph. And we see this visceral display unfold. Eventually, the ranks in the front no longer holding because of their tenacity or their vigor, but merely simply because there's nowhere for them to go. The soldiers behind them have trapped them between this pressing force and this machine that is just chewing through this army. And then we see three figures, dark, winged, emerge from the castle. Something again that we have seen. The brides of Borjido. And as they descend upon the group, what I would like is somebody that is not M to volunteer, please. Karen. Your character, this old man, is the last of this selection to die. What I would like, if you would please, is describe to me how it is that he dies. What do we see?
I think in the final moments, we see all this carnage happening and the people are falling left, right, all around him until he stands alone and he's got his sword drawn. He's in battle stance. He's going to put up a fight. You can see it in his eyes. And these three brides kind of land on the ground. They've surrounded him and they just walk so casually and calmly towards him, smiling the entire way. And he starts to, swing his sword, but he never connects. They're too quick. They dash out of the way. And the last thing we see is the three of them as one kind of pounce upon him. There's a scream, the visceral scream that gets cut off mid note, and then all we hear is this almost slurping, if you will.
This sickening, wet, slurping noise continues for just a moment until we see this older soldier's face fall to the ground, perfectly in frame, close to the camera, lifeless, drained. And then we see in the blink of an eye the advancement of time as his helmet ages and rusts and patinas, and the ground around him rises, and his face becomes that of a skull, as we return back to the present, where your group moves past his corpse.
I think we actually even see one of the horses step on what remains of his skull and is crushed.
I think Guillaume just kind of gives a "Ugh" as the horse crushes the skull. Just very disrespectful.
All right. I think this is where we're going to take our break, because when we come back, I'm going to get us into Owlbear Rodeo, and we're going to start this thing for reals. Yo. All right. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. Go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them, kiss your spouse, fill your drinks, etc., etc. Yeah, I'm so excited. All right, sit tight. We'll be back in 10, and we'll finish up the second half of episode 27, Evermore le Masquerade. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. We are here with episode 27 of Evermore le Masquerade. This is titled Castille de Borjido Part 1. We find ourselves back in the dark, ragged cliffs of the Stiletto Pass, with this castle looming up out of the fog before us. You are making your way along this narrow switchback. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna drop the Oliver Rodeo link in our chat if y'all could just connect to that whenever you get a chance. You find the road is probably narrow enough that you can only ride two side by side at a time. Get everybody in here. I'll switch things over. And as you make your way further up this switchback, climbing an elevation, all of you please make a perception check. And with a 17, 11. Oh wow, okay. Chimeran and Vera, you both notice that in these recesses down on either side, where the fog is the densest, when the wind kind of causes it to swirl and move a little bit, you spot even more bones and broken weaponry and things down in these ravines, almost enough like to where that's all you really notice are like bones and broken siege engines and things of that nature that have settled into these kinds of canyons on either side. All right. I am going to switch our overlay. Hopefully this works. Okay. So we have our 5 little peoples on the map. Everybody, I hope, is in the right spot. Looks like it. Okay. So I just put you in temporary order. So feel free to tell me how you would prefer to be situated if the arrangement does not work for you. Got Lox out front, Chimeran and Sylvie behind him, and then oh no, I'm sorry, that's Chimeran and Vera, and then Sylvie and Guillaume in the back. Okay. Cool.
Seems good to me.
All right, so now that you have found yourselves on this switchback, and you are this close to the castle, noticing the things you've noticed, the collection of bodies, the things collected in the ravines, is there anything else that you're going to do or say?
I mean, I
everybody
don't know if it goes without saying, I cast mage armor on myself. I probably would have done that earlier in the day, but you know.
Is everybody ready for this? I mean, really, truly, it's one thing when we say it and she looks around at like the ominous rocks. There's one thing to say it, you know, when we are still in relative safety, but this is. We need to be in this 100%. And I think she's looking around for more like reassurance as well as like also trying to bolster.
Here's going to kind of nod along with what she's saying, and I am concerned about one thing, though. Well, I'm concerned about a lot of things, but something else that we can control. The books that you have in your bag, Gil. There is a Chimeran that has them. The Chimeran. Those
Chimeran has
books.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we should not have them together. If something happens, having them split up, it might be better than having both of those powerful things together. I don't know. I don't know much about it. It just seems. If something
I mean, it
happens
feels
to
like a good
you,
idea then, or if anything happens to the bag, we don't want that falling into their hands, at least not both of them especially. So
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, that way, if anything happens, we can.
okay, I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but I've got some room in my bag. I'll give me the book. He'll load it into
Chimeran
his
just
bag.
kind of looks at you like, are you sure?
Are you sure?
I have a
Gil?
feeling we'll be far away from each other on the battlefield. Like about this fight, I hide as far back as I can, and you get right up.
So
I will
Chimeran just
always and completely respect your blatant admission to your own cowardice, Guillaume. It is an admirable trait.
I think, yeah, Chimeran just kind of shrugs, shakes his head, and then he'll give you Mercusio's old book.
When you pull the book out and hand it to Guillaume, the two of you notice that like this tome is all but like vibrating. And there's definitely a little bit of a as the book kind of passes hands.
Oh, I don't like how much this likes being here.
Do you want me to take it, Guillaume?
No, it's fine. I've got it. I
Okay.
just mean
I'm
it's unsettling how into this environment this book seems to be. Also, that this book seems into things. Also a problem.
You know what we say at the chateau, we don't kink shame, so.
No, it's not so much the kink as the kink haver.
I know, Guillaume. I was making a joke because we're going into something terrifying, and I'm a bard. I entertain. It's what I do.
Okay. That one's on me. I probably should have recognized that. I've known you long enough.
And
Okay.
Lox kind of looks back and goes, all right, books have been exchanged, words have been shared. I say enough yakking. Let's go do this.
Guillaume, at some point, whenever you finally get situated, put the book away, kind of start paying attention to the path ahead of you again, you notice that there's a skeleton in one of the trees as you're riding past. And you realize that, like, at one point that tree was not actually a tree, that it was like a pig pole, like a sharpened like pole that had been put through this skeleton and then had rooted and sprouted branches again at some point. And this thing seems to, again, it's just one of those where the eyes seem to like follow you, almost like a weird painting. It's just this nagging sensation that this thing is keeping an eye on you as you pass it.
I'm gonna be honest, this place is fucking creepy. I'm not saying we should go back or anything. It's way too late for that. We like killed some residents and they came back here, so we need to deal with that. But just keep an eye out. It feels like we're being watched.
Okay, so let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to give y'all permission over your own tokens. Here is that is building and Guillaume. Okay, y'all should now have control over your tokens. So, this it sounds like let's go ahead and move y'all forward. I don't know how quickly you're riding your horses necessarily, but I would imagine, 30, 40 feet, something like that. Move y'all further up here. And again, you can kind of stay in whatever pattern that you wish. Okay. Uh-oh, did we lose something? No, okay.
Everything's great back here, guys. You're doing a great job.
Yay! Keep going, a little further. Okay.
Farrah's like, I like the view back here.
All right. I would like for all of you to please roll for initiative. No particular reason, just so that we have it. 13 for Sylvie. Cameron with a 12. 22 for Lox. 20 for Guillaume. And a 17 for Vera. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, cool. All right, you continue forward, riding towards the first kind of bend in the last kind of big push until you get to the drawbridge of the castle. So I know that Guillaume has cast mage armor upon himself. Is the intention to simply just kind of ride on until the situation changes, or any of you preparing yourselves at all now that you're this close to the castle?
Lox has his sword drawn, and I think he acquired a crossbow last session. He has that loaded and kind of ready to go as well. Actually, you know what? Lox has got the crossbow in his hand because I can draw my sword with my mind. So I'm gonna hold the crossbow and have that ready to go.
Yeah, you see there are some new things on Sylvie's, this like leather armor that she has, and you can see that she's also at some point found a very long, like almost like a quarterstaff looking root, or sorry, a branch, and she's kind of been like whittling away at it, and she has carved some arcane runes into this quarterstaff.
Hmm.
Yes.
Vera, as we're getting close to the entrance of this castle and stuff, and we're getting ready to go in, she kind of puts her head down for a moment and she starts to kind of hum to herself a little bit, and she mutters something under her breath, and when she looks up, there's kind of this flash of energy that kind of rolls over her as she like looks up, and it's kind of this weird like rippling, almost similar to when she showed you guys that she could shift forms, but it's got kind of like a red glow to it, and it slides over her real quick, and then she kind of like shakes her head out a little bit, and oh, okay, that's better. I am casting protect from evil and good, protection against undead on myself before we head into this.
Oh hell, I'll drink a fire breath potion. It lasts an hour. That'll get us a little bit of time to spit some fire.
How does that taste, Austin?
I imagine that it would be kind of for some reason I think kind of like cinnamony, but like cinnamony in a way that is too much. Like both like the like the hot cinnamon like gum and candy, but also like the cinnamon challenge where it feels like dry even though it's a liquid, and it feels like it fills up your mouth in a powdery way. And it kind of just like it's hot and kind of burns on the way down.
So you continue forward, making progress into this very, very ominous place. I'm gonna move y'all forward a little more, keeping the same layout you had. Whoop, 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 whoop. I have to go like here. Boom. Okay. Make sure.
That's right. Women and children in the back.
Oh, by the way, this map is one of DM Andy's maps. Thanks, DM Andy. Okay. Suddenly, around you, there's movement. Rocks begin to move and shift. And suddenly, you see these discarded remains beginning to animate and rise, and clutching to their rusted, broken weapons to come after you. So, what I would like, please, is for somebody to roll 2d4.
I got you.
Thank you.
2d4, 2d4. That is a 2 and a 2, so 4.
4, all right. Da-da. Let me see here. I don't know why that's not working. Okay. We're gonna this. Okay. As we see these dead soldiers kind of spring to life all around us, still dressed in the crested helm of the soldiers that we saw eons ago. Many of them wearing rotted remnants of clothes and the tattered bits of armor and weaponry from many different bygone eras. Apparently, fighting this presence, coming up against this castle and this vampire, are not things that are new. Okay. First up, we have Skelly Soldiers. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this one near Guillaume is not a soldier, is a pikeman. This one is also a pikeman. This one here is a crossbowman, but this one here is a soldier. So, Lox, you are riding kind of along this kind of cliff face here, where it rises up above the road as you're kind of like nearing this this kind of bend in the road, and there's a one of these skeletons that is somewhat buried under a rock, and it like snaps its lower leg kind of at the ankle to step forward, and as it does so, it's the greave on its leg kind of shakes and falls down as it is going to bring a broken sword to swing at you. What is your armor class?
17.
Okay. Started with an 18 on the die, so that is going to be a hit.
Yup.
Okay, you're going to take slashing damage, a whopping amount, at 3 points.
Cool.
Okay. This skeleton then, after having swung at you, and moves away from you. You absolutely can take an attack. Well, ooh, you had your crossbow out, didn't you?
I had my crossbow out, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So it swings at you with this broken, rusted sword, and then turns and kind of shambles further up the switchback. Okay. Lox, you're up.
So Lox is kind of wincing as this sword cuts through his he just has like padded armor that kind of drapes down over his legs, and the blade kind of slices through it, and he goes to bring up the crossbow, but it sort of gets tangled in the reins, and the skeleton just takes off running. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at him with the crossbow.
Okay. Absolutely.
12 on the die. So dirty 20 to hit.
Absolutely hits.
Okay. And 11 damage. It is piercing damage, though.
Okay. So, you can describe what it looks like as you kill him.
Oh, okay, great. I think the leg that this skeleton kind of had to sort of snap into place. Lox is aiming with this crossbow, and he's actually never shot this crossbow before, and he has this this kind of thought in the logical part of his brain that is still running as he's going into sort of like reaction survival mode. He has this thought that's basically, I should have practiced with this first, and he aims for the thing's head and pops off the bolt. And it arcs and drops faster than Lox was expecting, but it takes this skeleton's leg clean off, and the skeleton kind of topples and pieces just go scattering in all directions, almost like it was just waiting for something to break it apart. It was that brittle. And then Lox will sort of drop the crossbow. He has it sort of on this sling, so it just sort of drops to his side, discharged, and he'll go ahead and draw out his sword as a free action. So he's ready for the next time.
All right. Are you moving forward at all? Are you staying mounted?
Can I see the pikemen and the crossbowmen ahead of me? Am I like, can I see that there are skeletons sort of getting up off the ground? Okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ride a little bit forward just to sort of close the distance between myself and this skeleton that's like very clearly hefting up a crossbow. So let's do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, just shy. Just close enough to take a shot right in the face. I'll go ahead and put myself right there.
Are you staying on horseback?
Ooh, that is a good question. I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I think that I probably am. I think that I wouldn't take the time to dismount.
Then you could probably close the distance then, because your horse would move faster than
I'm on
you
a
do
horse.
on foot.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and close the distance then and get myself right up on this crossbowman. And that's my turn.
All right. Guillaume, you're up.
Okay, I don't want to make a opportunity attack. I'm not great in close combat, but I think I will. Actually, I'm not terrible at that. Yeah, I'm gonna shocking grasp him. If I can just kind of give him like a smack from horseback, the guy that's closest to me.
Okay.
The pike.
Absolutely.
Ooh, hell yeah. That's gonna be a 26 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feels likely. I don't know why.
That's not the one that does something against targets in metal armor, does it?
Let's double check. I know it stops them
grasp.
from having reactions, so he wouldn't be able to opportunity attack.
Okay.
You have advantage on the attack roll if the target is wearing metal
there you go.
armor.
So that would apply here.
Unfortunately, I think it's only going to be 6 points of damage.
Okay.
I'll roll just in case I get a 20, which I did not.
Okay, fair enough. Good to check. All right, so yeah, you reach out with this jolt. We can see the arcing electricity kind of like dance along the metal armor of his helmet and his breastplate. But you know, you kind of hear that kind of rattle noise that the skeleton makes inside the metal armor. But it is very much still moving and still held together.
Yeah, I would like to create a little bit of distance. So, boy, this path, I can't really go like, can I? It doesn't seem wide enough for me to go through my companions, though.
You can, yeah. You can pass through. It basically just, the square just counts twice or whatever, because you do it slow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But I'll just go up to here then, to try to, like, get a little bit of distance from everybody.
It's less about distance and more about a buffer, I think, is what it looks like.
Well, it's a little bit of both, but I don't want to
I
get
like
too
it.
far ahead and get close to another enemy where I just don't ever want to be the closest person to a monster. That's Guillaume's whole thing. He's a
That
wizard.
tracks.
That's
That's how we
that's
do.
definitely definition of buffer.
I am the only one here not wearing. Well, no, I'm not. Oh no, I might be the only one in no armor whatsoever. Got
The magic armor, though. It's all right.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
All right, perfect. Vera, you're up.
Vera sees the attacks happening and the one that is kind of coming up behind Sylvie, this pikeman over here, just below us.
Mhm.
And she is going to turn around and she is going to attack it with her shiny new Eldritch Blast. And she's going to get a 24 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Okay. It will do 4 damage. And then she gets 2 blasts at this level, so she will go again if she needs to. 19 to hit.
What was the first bout of damage?
4.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. He's definitely still kicking.
Okay. And then the second one will be 9.
9 to hit?
Uh-huh. No, a 19 to hit and then 9
yes.
damage.
Okay. 13 okay, so yes, you can absolutely describe what it's like when you what it looks like when you take that one down.
Yeah, Vera catches that thing out of the corner of her eye, coming up and looking like it's about ready to kind of go after Sylvie, and she turns around and she just holds her hand out and there's this kind of pulse of red that slides down her arm as these 2 blasts just come out of her hand and hit it twice, and it hits with the first one, with the second one and the Eldritch Blast being force damage. The first one it starts to kind of shatter and it starts to kind of shake and vibrate, and then when she follows it up with that second blast, it hits directly in the sternum, and you just watch as that kind of force energy just hits that, and you hear a loud crack of dried dead bone, and then watch as just all the pieces kind of fall to the ground around it.
Absolutely. It kind of tumbles backwards down the cliffside, kind of back behind you, mingling with its brethren below. Okay. Sylvie, your turn.
Sylvie is going to get clear of Chimeran so that she has visual on the pikeman. That's here. So she is going to outstretch her hand, and this arc of lightning explodes from a jewel that's been embroidered into her sleeve as she's casting her lightning launcher.
Fantastic. What do you need from me? Saving throw?
No, it's a ranged attack, so it's a
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so that is going to be a 27
that
hit.
Absolutely will hit.
But it's going to do 7 points of lightning damage.
Okay. It takes 7 points.
And then she's going to do that again, because she gets 2 attacks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Same target?
Artificers, yeah.
Okay.
Artificers are really cool. A very cool half. Mm-hmm. That's 12.
12 to hit is not going to hit.
Okay. So it just misses. It arcs past the skeleton.
Hmm.
That is her turn.
Okay. Yeah, this first bolt kind of hits, and again we see it kind of dance along the outside of it, and it kind of rattles, but it still kind of keeps moving. The second shot, I think, kind of maybe misses or like is like headed towards it, and then all of a sudden kind of like bends, and it hits like a shield that's like not that far off its path, and it just kind of like straight into the center of this kind of metal rusted shield. Okay. Chimeran, your turn.
So Chimeran will ride ahead to engage this pikeman that's wrong screen. This pikeman that's coming up the side of the road. And we see him pulling out this stained glass rapier that glows as if the sun is shining through it. And I don't know the rules from attacking on horseback, but I would like to make attack roll and smite him as I'm riding
Okay.
past.
Hold on just 1 second, though. Because... thing.
We have effects. Look at that. So pretty.
So, you draw the edge of light and ride up and strike out at this pikeman. What's your attack roll?
Is it just normal? I just roll. Oh, that's a
I think
26
so.
to hit.
26?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that absolutely hits.
Actually, sorry, it should have been a 27 to hit, but
In that case, you missed.
okay.
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Nasty damage. 6 points of whatever damage it is, piercing, magical piercing.
Okay. It already had been damaged by Sylvie's spell. Is it a spell, Sylvie? No, it's like a
No, it's
Green?
it's part of my arcane armor, but it's treated as a ranged weapon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this lightning bolt had already done some damage to this skeleton. So your sword damage will put it over the edge. So you can go ahead and describe what it looks like as you finish this pikeman off.
So it's almost like we can see Chimera just makes the slash as he's riding past with the sword. It cleaves the head off of that skeleton, and I think I'd like to continue moving. So I now see that there's another one up ahead.
Yes. So what none of you had seen, just because he had basically bent and gone around the corner for where you were able to see, is another one of them has roused just where Lox had felled the first one.
Yeah, so I'd like to continue. I don't know how far the horse can go, but to
I think they do 40.
like there, at least I think that's about. I think it was 20 to get where I was, so that's another 10 to 15. So
Okay.
I don't want to go too close. I'm going to stay right there, but and draw it up onto the road.
Okay. And I forgot to ask either Viri, I'm just going to combine the two of you, Vera or Sylvie, if either one of you wanted to move on your turn. No. Okay. 60 feet. Okay. Oh yeah. So you had plenty of movement. Okay. Sylvie's going to hang back with Guillaume. Vera's moving up. Moving on up. All right. That was Chimeran. Okay, Skelly Pikemen are all dealt with.
Sorry, as a bonus action,
sorry,
I would
go ahead.
like, yeah, I completely forgot this. I'd like to give Lox aid as I pass by. I'm giving him the help action.
Awesome. Okay. What does that look like? How are you helping him?
I'm probably, as I'm riding past, telling him the weakness I see in the creature's armor as it's climbing past. Something that he wouldn't have seen from his angle, but I see it as I go forward.
Okay. Yep, no skelly pikemen, so the skelly crossbowman. Okay. So, Lox, this is what you see. This crossbowman turns down towards the ground and opens its mouth, and you see this snaking purple like energy, this magic that kind of rises up through its rib cage and out its mouth and snakes downward and into the nasal passages and eye holes and mouth of another one of the skeletons at its feet, which then begins to move and animate. Then, with its action, it is actually going to turn and try to grapple you. I need you to make an opposed grapple check, please. It can be athletics or acrobatics, whichever you wish.
Great. I'm going with acrobatics. It's 13 on the die for a total of 21.
All right. Fantastic. So, this skeleton grabs a hold of you, kind of dropping its crossbow, and even though it's not able to secure, like to get a hold of you securely, this is not like a grapple of like a bar fight. This is not somebody just like winding their hand up in your shirt or something. This thing was like trying to embrace you, like put its arms around your body and like pull you to it. And it is continuing to try to do so. Again, not making a sound other than the clattering of its bones as it attempts to wrestle you. Okay. Back to the top of the round. This soldier here is going to use its bonus action to purple snake a pikeman, and is then going to move forward to close with you, Chimeran, and swing at you with its sword. What is your AC?
16.
He misses you. You think that this sword swipe probably would have connected and cut you if this sword still had the last third of it attached. But because it did not, it just kind of passes in front of you, kind of maybe scraping across the front of your armor, harmlessly though. Okay. That brings us to Lox.
Okay. We're gonna attack the skeletal crossbowman here right in front of me that I'm tangling with. The one who's trying to give me some hugs. So I'm using my rapier here. Ooh, 18 on the die, so 27 total on that
Absolutely
roll.
will hit.
And you have advantage because of the
I
health.
do because of
because of the aid.
Okay, cool. The second roll was 16, so we'll take that first one.
Okay.
Oh man, max damage too. So 15 piercing damage from the rapier, and that is a magic weapon.
Right.
If that
Okay.
matters.
So you can describe how you kill him.
So this skeleton is reaching for Lox, and you know, you mentioned, Jeremy, that this isn't just a bar fight, someone grabbing on and twisting my shirt. But Lox just sort of like locks in. He's been in a lot of close quarters fights, and he gets a hold of this skeleton's arm and he sort of twists it, tucks it under his arm so that he has the full weight of this skeleton. And he takes his rapier and just slides it up into the thing's head from beneath its chin, almost like a he's holding a dagger. But the force of this blow, the blade just erupts out the top of this thing's skull, and fragments go flying, and the head itself comes popping clean off the spinal column. And Lox just drops this skeleton to the ground. And then he's going to just step forward. He's going to take a free 5. I know that's not a thing, but I just remember in Pathfinder, everything was fucking free 5. He's going to take a 5-foot step and try to knock out this second crossbowman here. So here's my second attack for the round. 15 on the die for a total of 24.
This is another hit.
And and then minimum damage, so 8 damage on that attack. I rolled a 1 on the die.
Wow. Okay. So he is still kicking.
Okay. No, I'm not gonna do my action surge. I'm gonna save it. Yeah, that'll be my turn.
All right. That will bring us to Guillaume.
Awesome. I am going to move up, maneuver myself next to Vera. And Guillaume is just going to like both hands to like to the sides of his mouth to kind of direct himself and just aim his fire breath in as straight a line as he can at the hoping to hit the two in front of him, the skeletal soldier and the pike, soldier 2 and pikeman 3 is who I'm trying to.
Yes, absolutely. Should be able to do that. I think they have a thing on here somewhere.
And it's going to be a dex save. They only need to make a 13. But it's going to be some damage either way.
Roger. Dex saves are not something that they're great at. Oh, okay. I rolled a 19 on the die. So that would be the closest to you, the soldier. So he's going to pass. The other one
so
will not. Will fail.
Okay, so 8 points for the one that passed and 16 for the one that did not.
Okay. Soldier 2. 8 points. He is still standing. However, the pikeman, you can describe how that will kill him. How it damages the enemy.
Yeah, I think this this fire that erupts out of Guillaume's mouth is it's almost like a flamethrower blast. It almost seems like there is like some sort of accelerant in it that almost immediately coats this skeleton, and like very quickly where the flames touch, you see the bone starts to crack and blacken, and parts of it, like especially at the joints, seem to just vaporize to ash almost, and like parts of it start falling off into this crackling pile of broken, blackened, smoking bones. And I think actually that's only a bonus action. So this guy right in front of me, I'll just I'll kind of reach out to one of the little areas on his shoulder where there's still like a little bit of flame from the fire breath, and like pat it out. And as I pat it out, I'll cast Shocking Grasp on him.
Okay.
Oh shoot, that was cocked because I left the dice in the thing. Okay.
You have advantage on him because he's wearing metal armor.
Oh, thank God, because that was really bad. So that means it's gonna be numbers 21.
Yes, is a hit.
And 5 points of damage.
Okay, and you finish him off.
Awesome. Yeah, this time just electricity courses through the bones, and the metal of it seem to like reverberate as it like clatters in the bones until he falls limp.
All right. Vera.
I guess we have the one skeletal crossbowman left. So Vera will just kind of turn to it as she sees it standing next to Locks, and she will Eldritch Blast that also. First attack is a 21 to hit.
Yes, will hit.
And 4 force damage.
Okay. He was already damaged. So you can describe what it's like, what it looks like when you finish him off.
Again, it's kind of the same style of effect, but this one, this blast of kind of red energy goes flying, probably just over Lox's shoulder, almost like down his sword arm that he was using to attack it, and it hits this skeleton and just kind of poofs back, and all the pieces like fly out behind it.
I really want it to be, it happens right before this skeleton just shoots Locks point blank with the crossbow too, so that Locks can like
Absolutely.
turn and just be like, thanks.
Absolutely, it does. It kind of just comes flying out at that moment. He sees at the same time the blade coming at him and the power kind of flying past his head, and it falls to the ground. Then I guess Vera will
move,
kind of
yeah.
risk moving up a little bit and seeing what's up this way, if there's anything else.
So far, you see more pathway. You can see that it bends back on itself and then doubles back again, each time kind of rising in elevation higher and higher, towards where you can see kind of just at the top right of the screen. It looks like you can spot a drawbridge that kind of spans this ravine that kind of runs to the right of you. Yeah. How far do you move? About just where you are?
Yeah, Vera's just going up a little bit. She's not going
Okay.
too far up. She's not taking the front line. She's waiting
Understood.
for our brave Locks to go jump in front of things.
In that case, Sylvie, in the rear, it is your turn.
Okay. You said 60 feet for...
Yes,
this?
for horses. Mm-hmm.
Okay, she can get... She wants to get here.
Okay.
But she's gonna stick with the group. She doesn't want to go too much farther ahead. So,
Okay.
I think that's what she is going to do, but just let me double check one thing. Yeah, that's all she's gonna do.
All right. Chimeran, your turn.
Chimeran, seeing that all the foes in the vicinity are gone, is a little leery about what may be happening. He does not like the fact that right now Sylvie is out in front, and so he's going to move past. And as he does, he's going to keep grabbing the wrong. He's going to tell her to make sure she stays behind him. I guess we'll move to there.
Okay. Light from Chimeran's sword. So illuminating. Widen the map out here a bit. The area around you all. Probably a good view there. You continue forward. We are back at the top of the round with Locks.
Okay, I think I saw that horses can move 60 feet.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just sort of ride ahead at a fairly good trot, not wanting any additional enemies to be able to sort of surround us. So I'm trying to spread out a little bit more. And then, yeah, I guess that's it. If there's no obvious threat here, that'll be my turn.
Again, you can see there's tons of bones all around you, and now you almost find yourself, every skull you ride past, you kind of find yourself looking at it for a moment just to see, is it moving, is it not? It's you're very much kind of like on alert now, looking for these threats that could possibly come from anywhere, and yet as of now at least you see nothing.
Yeah, I actually, there's maybe a few that Locks will even kind of lash out at, or maybe even like kind of gallop his horse over, crushing skulls if there's some that seem especially suspicious.
Absolutely. And you and Chimeran both can also see that kind of where this fold in the land is, kind of right here, where this switchback is kind of like straddling on either side, that, again, like, this is filled with remains. Like, not quite to the brim, but like to the point where you don't really see bare rock underneath it. Guillaume.
Okay. I have a stupid thing that I want to do, but I think I'm gonna hold off
I
on
love
that. I'm
that.
just gonna. I think. I mean, stupid in the sense of like using up resources that might be better used later.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think I'm just gonna move up. So 45, 50, 55. Okay, I'll move there. I still want to stay a little bit behind Locks,
Okay.
be fully in front, but I think I'm feeling a little emboldened by that little victory. Um, boy, I'm like, should no, okay, I'll hold there, and I'll just use I'll dodge just in case anything comes out.
Okay. All right. Someone, if you would please, roll me 2d4.
Sure. 6 total. 3 and a 3.
6. Okay. That trench that Locks was kind of keeping an eye on, suddenly his caution pays dividends as several of these skeletons shamble to life, and begin to come for you. Vera, it is your turn.
Vera, kind of immediately seeing this skeleton pop up right next to Chimeran and one closer to Sylvie, she's going to, let's see. She's going to Eldritch Blast the one that is closer to Sylvie. So Skeletal Soldier number 3. 26 to hit. and 10 damage on that one.
Okay. Yeah, that takes him out.
This one, when she hits it with that force damage, it blows apart, but as it does, because it's right on the edge of that like kind of trench there, it just gets pushed back into the trench and pieces just kind of go flying and tumbling all over. Then she'll go ahead and shoot at the one next to Commune.
Okay.
27 to hit.
It's also a hit.
And 6 damage.
Okay. It's Pikeman 4. Takes 6. He is still up.
Okay. She will move up the oops, gotta get the hand. She will move up a bit. Probably to here. Of course. And that's it. That's her turn.
Okay. Sylvie, you're up.
Yeah, Sylvie is going to aim for pikeman number 4 with her lightning
Okay. Absolutely.
launcher. 23 to hit.
Is a hit. Yep. And,
Which
amazing.
does
All right.
8 points.
8 on top of the 4. Okay. Yep. You can describe that one.
I imagine it happens so fast. You see this jolt of this bright blue lightning arc directly through the center of the skull of this pikeman, and instantly it just collapses, and you can still see like this smoke and smell that like ozone smell as the skeleton drops. And then she's going to use her second attack on, we'll do the soldier 4 guy. As long as I, oh yeah, yep, we'll try and hit him. It's a 29 to hit.
Absolutely.
Does 9 points of lightning.
Okay, 9 points. He is fresh, so soldier 4. 9 points. He is almost destroyed, but not quite.
Okay, that she's going to move up a little bit. Oops. Up to here. And that's her turn.
Okay, absolutely. Oh, there was a question about the staff. Is that something that did y'all ID that?
Yeah, we were discussing in the side chat that we would have done it during.
We didn't have the spell, but we definitely would have spent the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Let me pause real quick here, and I'm going to bounce over to the main overlay, and then pull that up here.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. You didn't have to interrupt for
Oh,
that.
no, you're
I just
good.
was throwing it up there while I was thinking about it.
All good. It is called the Staff of the Blood Bruja. This unsettling staff is made entirely of undulating blood in various stages of coagulation. Though it does not leave blood behind on anything it touches, you can feel your own pulse in your fingertips and palm when you hold this weapon. The staff requires attunement and grants a +2 to attack and damage rolls. After you complete a short or long rest, you may choose to lose up to half your hit points, which are then stored in the staff as blood. As an action, you may draw from this pool to restore that same number of hit points. If at any point you receive healing beyond your maximum, you may store the additional points in this staff. In addition, while the staff is full, equaling half your maximum hit points, you may cast the Dominate Person spell. That would be once per day. It should have added that on there, but okay.
One question about that.
Battle. Yes.
Does the blood in the staff carry over day to day? Or is it like you have to, when you start a new day, is the blood from yesterday still there?
No, you'd have to renew it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sylvie just finished her turn. Chimeran, it is your turn.
I think Chimeran just kind of glances back at Sylvie and gives a very quick approving nod of this new ability that she is showing. It's coming quite handy so far. So he's like that. And then he is going to ride forward. To this dude that's up here. I can't see the grid properly. Where the pikeman number 5 is in range.
Mhm.
And he's going to give a bonus. Use my bonus action to give Locks aid in fighting soldier number 5 on his turn.
Soldier 5. Okay, yep. Absolutely.
Again, the whole notices something, maybe how it's moving or a little weakness or something to give Locks a spot or some strategy to deal with that critter. Meanwhile, he is going to lash out at pikeman number 5. I hope. 21.
Is a hit.
For 12 points of damage.
And you can describe what that looks like.
I think it's like Chimeran and Locks are like falling into step how they used to kind of fight before all of this stuff happened in our recent history. And so it's almost like, he's giving this action and it's almost like a nonchalant swiping of the sword to this skeleton that just happens to be there, and we see it like kind of clip it on the shoulder and it just kind of shatters as it kind of goes through and causes the skeleton to crumble.
All right.
And if it's dead, I would like to continue moving around the corner so that I can get to
Soldier 4 was still
sorry,
okay.
I can't see the road.
Yeah,
You
so
see the road through the light show around you. You're like, it's too bright.
This square here is where you'd have to round.
Oh, okay, so I have to keep going farther. Okay, well, then I
Yes,
might as
yeah.
well come up to. I'll keep riding so that I'm also within distance of this creature when Locks gets there. So it'll have 2
Okay.
of us.
So you just basically close with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That is Chimeran. The pikemen are all dealt with. So it is now the crossbowman's turn. He is going to shoot at, let's see, he's got all possible targets. All right, Sylvie. What is your armor class?
It is 15.
Okay. So that is a hit with a rotten crossbow. You're going to take piercing damage to the tune of 5 points. This aged, weathered, rotted bolt finds its way through your armor and pierces into your calf. It's kind of on the side of your horse. He is then going to Wake a brethren up from his slumber. Okay. Back to the top of the round with soldiers. We've got soldier here with Chimeran. And soldier here. Let's stumble up out of there. Okay. That was 5 foot that he used. Skeleton soldier 5 has not moved. I'm gonna do skeleton 4 first. Sylvie, you need to make an opposed grapple check, please. Either athletics or acrobatics, whichever you wish.
Ooh, athletics. It's a 10.
Okay. So this skeleton runs up, and again, this is not like a scrape. This is not like a fist fight kind of grappling. Like, this thing runs up and wraps itself around you. And it would be like a hug from like a long lost friend, except it's a skeleton. And there's no emotion in it at all. But it has wrapped itself around you. I need you to please make a strength saving throw.
6.
6. It grabs onto you and like kind of launches itself at you enough to take you off of your horse. You fall to the ground here. It coming with you, and it immediately starts rolling towards the edge of the cliff.
Oh.
Okay. Soldier 5 over here is going to attempt to strike you. Chimeran, what is your armor class?
Sorry, 16.
16. Okay, it misses you. And then it is going to move. So you'll get a swing at it. 30. Whoops. 30, if you wish.
You betcha. 15 to hit.
It is a hit.
Nice. For 9 points.
He was already damaged? No, he was not. Okay. It doesn't kill him, but pretty close. Alright. That was the soldiers. Lox, it is your turn.
All right. Lox is going to use Misty Step as a bonus action. 5, 10, 15. And teleport off of his horse and appear in a burst of peacock feathers right beside this skeletal soldier. And I'm going to attack with my rapier.
All right.
9 on the die, 18 total.
Is a hit.
Okay, rolling damage. That is 13 piercing
and
damage.
You have 8.
I thought I had 8 for dude that you killed. Oh no, he moved over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Just in case you get a 20.
Cool. Yeah, I'll roll again really quick. Nope.
Okay.
And then for I'll go ahead and do my second attack. 19 total to hit.
So how much damage did you do on the first one? Because he was already damaged.
Oh, he was already down. I did 8 damage on the first attack.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So you can mow through him, and then if you have movement that you want to use, you can do that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I Misty Stepped as a bonus action, and then I still have my 30 feet of movement.
Yeah.
And can you remind me? Can you break up 2 attacks of it? Okay, everyone's
Yes,
nodding.
100%.
Cool, awesome. All right, awesome. I thought that was the case, but I couldn't remember. So I'm gonna go ahead and move. So I mow through Skeletal Soldier 5. So I Chimeran called out, right side of the breastplate, under the armpit, and Lox just teleports over there and slides his sword right into that spot, and the skeleton just crumbles inside his armor, and then the armor falls down. And Lox just keeps moving, running through the peacock feathers that are still drifting towards the ground from his misty step. He runs through this cloud of feathers. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, are these guys up on a ledge or are they on the road?
They're kind of like around this little rocky outcropping that you're next to.
Okay.
So they're like probably like hip height, waist height at this point.
Cool. So I can still strike out at them then.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, so now I will use my second attack here. 10 on the die, 19 to hit.
Absolutely will hit.
And then 11 damage on that leftmost crossbowman.
All right. That will kill him.
God damn. Double kill. Okay, so I just come up and with the rapier, I take him off at the knee, and as he drops down, Lox just grabs his skull and slams it into the rock and shatters it.
Okay. So, that was Lox. Guillaume, it is your turn.
Okay. I am going to use my second fire breath on the soldier 4. Try to. Oh, is he like he's like fully grappled?
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I am going to ride over there. She's off the horse at this point.
Yeah, they're kind of tangled up together.
Okay, I have a weird goal. I want to like jump off of my horse and at least just get a hand. Like I want to be able to like do a touch spell on Sylvie.
Okay.
So I want to like ride up and try to basically like jump off onto her to cast a spell on her.
All right.
Since she's kind of rolling with the skeleton. And I will jump off and I will cast Fly at a 4th level. So it'll be on her and on me.
Fantastic. Is that concentration based all, or?
That is a concentration spell.
Okay. Help me keep that in mind, if you would.
Yes, I will. Thank goodness for my displacement cloak. That is an action. And so nobody else is in 30 feet of me, and I don't want to burn Sylvie with the fire. So I will I'll just stay there then.
Okay. That was Guillaume. Vera's turn.
Okay. Vera's gonna, let's see, they're dealing with that one. Vera's actually gonna kind of ride up this way, and she's going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
So yeah, it's a little hard to see because somebody's got a bright ass sword. But
so I was back here, so I'm going.
The road like forks, or not forks, but bends back on itself. Like,
oh, it's way back there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very switchbacky. It looks real flat in this picture, but each of these steps is kind of like a 30-degree pitch or whatever.
Absolutely. I can totally see it when our disco ball is not lit. Yeah, so sorry, just give me 1 second and I'll just measure this way. So she's gonna go up this way. Yeah, okay. So basically she's gonna kind of ride her horse up and around and end up at her 60-foot mark there. And then she is going to Eldritch Blast the one that is Fox is dealing with up there.
Okay. He'll have a little bit of cover from you. Not much, but a little bit. A bonus to his AC.
A 21.
Not good enough to keep that from hitting him, though.
And 9 damage.
He was unscathed as of yet, so he is still up.
Okay, I will take the second shot
That's
then.
pretty rough. Okay.
Ooh, that's not going to be good. 10. That one misses.
It's a miss, definitely.
Yep. Okay. Yep, that's her turn.
All right. Sylvie, your turn.
So Sylvie is now flying.
Yes. Grappled with a skeleton.
She's going to nod in thanks to Guillaume as much as she can with a skeleton hanging off of her. But she's going to fly up and try and get the skeleton off of her.
Okay.
Is that like an athletics?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a thing for that. These are very tiny.
That is a 16.
16 against... Ooh, I got a 16 on the die. Oh, he manages to hold on. So you are rising up, however high it is that you go up in the air. But this skeleton manages to cling on to you.
Okay, I have a weird
sorry.
question. Is that
Actually,
since he is? Oh, sorry. Go.
Sorry, I have a flash of genius. So,
Okay.
if I make an ability check, I can use my reaction to add 5 to the roll.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what does that total out to again?
So I rolled a 16 plus 5.
21?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah. He had a dirty 20. So... you beat him. So yeah, absolutely describe what it looks like as you shake this thing off and he falls from however high you are.
So I imagine it is a struggle. Like, he is just not getting off of her. The limbs just keep, like, kind of just like a toddler almost. Like, they have this uncanny ability to just kind of keep hanging on. All of a sudden, Sylvie has this idea, and what she is going to do is, I imagine that she has these like petticoats on, like these layers underneath of fabric. And so the skeleton is kind of trying to crawl up her skirts. And so she has to literally tear off one of the layers of her skirts in order to drop this skeleton onto the floor. Also, she tried to fly up as high as she could. She's hoping that this skeleton becomes a pile of bones.
Okay. Guillaume, is it 60 foot that you can move when you have
60-foot fly speed, yes.
Okay. So you are 60 foot above the ground. Sorry, go ahead.
Just a question. This might not even matter with a 60-foot fall in this skeleton's future, but if you are choosing to grapple someone who is moving, does that count as willingly moving? I'm trying to figure out if I could opportunity attack him on the way up, because he could have just stayed but instead he decided to hold on.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I mean, he is electing to hold on and maintain the grapple, but the object of his grapple is moving. So he's not
Right.
technically the one moving. I don't know, man. That's a sticky situation, for sure.
Yeah, that's part
I'm
of the
not
reason
sure.
I was curious.
Yeah. But regardless, between perhaps Guillaume's Schrodinger's opportunity attack and Sylvie shaking him off, he's dead. Re-dead. So, Sylvie, you are 60 feet up. I thought I had a way of marking height on here, or flying, but it does not look like it.
Can
Go ahead,
Sylvie
sorry.
see anything extra? Sorry, from this vantage, now that she's
Oh,
incredibly tall.
incredibly tall.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess you could probably see down in the ravine and stuff more. And again, you see a lot of the same, again, like entire broken like siege engines, catapults and ballistas and like siege towers, and a multitude of just bones everywhere. And you can probably even see across the ravine where the drawbridge extends, and see basically into the courtyard of the castle, where you can also see its front door. So let me pop over here right quick. Okay, and to art. It's, what we as an audience would expect, giant sweeping Gothic arches and multitude of dark recesses where things may or may not dwell. Kind of like a yawning maw a little bit. As you can see the front door of Castille de Borjido. Okay. That was Sylvie Chimeran.
I'm going to ride like the wind. So horse has got 60 feet movement. Can you dash with a horse to go 120, or is it just 60? That's that.
I believe you
Is the
can. It
horse.
just, costs you the same action economy, essentially. So for you, I guess you can do it as a bonus action. Again, not entirely certain if that's as intended by the rules, but that's what we're going to go with. Okay.
So that's like double move to get all the way over there.
Okay.
I think I won't do the whole, like, I'll use my bonus action to give Locks aid on this guy. I think I'm in his way, so let me. Yeah, okay, so if I went 100, I'll go around here before coming and closing.
Okay.
There.
Just come in. We don't have no pikemen. We don't have. No, we do have a crossbowman. That's the one dude who's up. Okay. Hi, Marin.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to attempt to grapple you, so you need opposed grapple check.
So I can use acrobatics, is that correct?
You can, yes.
Awesome. Oh, that's not so good. That's a 9.
Oh. So remember that thing that happened to Sylvie just a little bit ago?
Mm-hmm.
It happens to you now. Oop. Knocks you off your horse. Gets all up in your business. And Locks you up. I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh, this is going to be bad. I have a -1. Oh, but I rolled a 19, so that's an 18.
Okay. So for the time being, though this thing has tackled and latched on to you, and you are on the ground with it, it is not able to basically roll you over towards the edge of the chasm yet.
Yet. Okay.
And then it is going with you. It is going to spread the good word. As a pikeman animates beside it.
I'm up real close and personal with this number crossbowman 3, so I could totally see the fact that the front of his armor has a big hole in it. Locks. So.
Nice. Absolutely. Okay. Skelly soldiers. We don't have none. So Locks, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move about 15 feet there and get up with Chimeran and this skeletal crossbowman. And I'll go ahead and strike out at him with my rapier. And did you give me 8 on that one, Chimeran, with the little hint there? Okay,
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Gonna roll with advantage then. Here's the first roll is 11. Second one is 16. So 25 total on that second roll.
Absolutely.
And 11 piercing damage.
That's enough to kill it.
Ooh, okay, cool. So I find that hole in the breastplate easily, as Chimeran points it out, and just strike with all of my force into that weakness in the armor and sever something important in the spine that just ragdolls this thing and it clatters to the floor. And then I'll use a little bit more of my movement to close with this pikeman, and I'll use my second attack. 8 on the die for 17.
Also a hit.
And 8 damage total on that one.
Okay. Wrecking shop. He is still up, though. For the time being, at least. Okay, that was Locks. Guillaume.
I would like to make him not be up any longer. So I am going to fly up. Let's see. He's 45 feet according to this, I think. Is that right? Yeah, 40 feet. Okay, so I will just go ahead and fly up to about here. So about 40 feet high. And I will I guess I'll move a little bit further just to get around Locks and shoot a firebolt at this guy. Ooh.
How high up did you say you were?
40 feet. I marked it on that token.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Yeah, you can set height.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going
I
to be
much prefer what Jeremy's got going on over here. This is great.
Isn't it
Handwriting
thrifty?
it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I was zoomed in too close.
Scooch it over for the audience here.
So a 17 to hit.
Will absolutely hit.
Awesome. And it will be 13 points of fire damage.
Okay, you can describe how you take him down.
I think this one, like, it's not even the fire, it's the force of the bolt of fire as it rockets into him from this height, that it just like pushes him down against the ground where he bursts and the bones just clatter.
All right. The battlefield is clear. So, at initiative count 20, somebody roll me 2d4.
Well, I'm initiative count 20. I guess I can do that. That's gonna be a 3 and a 3, so 6.
Okay. Six. Healthy amount of soldiers in this batch. 4 soldiers, a pikeman, and a crossbowman. I'll animate. All right, Vera, you're up. You muted, Kenya. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You had your head down.
I'm
I thought you
just-
were looking
yeah,
something up.
I'm
so-
looking something. No, I am looking something up.
Okay.
It's okay. Vera's getting agitated with these skeletons that are popping up everywhere. So she is going to ride forward. Do 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 do. Hold on, let me measure, make sure I go that far for now. Okay, so that's 45 feet. And then she is going to cast sphere. Okay. Radius is half of a circle, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a 10-foot radius sphere would be 10 feet that way and 10 feet this way. Okay.
Mhm.
She is going to drop shatter.
Oh,
But she is
well
going to
done.
drop it, like she's gonna drop it. I'm gonna put Vera where she's gonna drop it just so you can see. She's gonna drop it back here because I don't want to hit Chimera
Okay.
with it. So she's
So-
gonna drop it behind this guy.
It's a
But
10-foot
it's-
radius, you said?
It's a 10-foot radius, so oh wait, she's got to drop it.
Yeah.
She's
I
gonna
think you have
drop
to
it.
choose, basically. You can get 3, it looks like, without getting Chimeran. So you have
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
omit
drop it
either
behind.
6 or 8.
I'm gonna drop it. Then I'm gonna drop it right. I'll move her over again. Show you where. I'm gonna drop it back here because then I can get these
Okay.
3 without hitting Chimeran.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's going to drop shatter right behind those 3. And I need Constitution saving throw of 16 from each of them, please.
All right, con saves. All right, so we're going to go pikeman, crossbowman, and then soldier. There's a fail from the pikeman, a definite fail from the crossbowman, and then from the soldier. What is the DC again?
16.
He passed.
Okay,
first
so
two
the two that failed are going to take 15 damage each,
Ooh.
and the one that passed is going to take 8 damage.
Okay. It absolutely obliterates those 2. Skeletal soldier 8. You said he still takes 8 or 9?
He takes 8.
8. Okay. Lots of cracks in his bones, but he's still up.
And it's just this loud explosion of
Mhm.
thunder as it hits these things, and it is going to I imagine because she had to put it behind them so as not to hit Chimeran, this time the bone, like pulverized bone, is actually going to go flying towards Chimeran. So Chimeran is just like sprayed with this like dusting of dead skeleton like shrapnel as it goes flying forward from the shatter. As Vera kind of like marches forward and she starts to scream and she kind of slaps her hands together and you just hear that crack of thunder come out.
And Chimera, you know your mouth was open at least a little.
Oh, my mouth was open when I was being grappled. So I've
Yep.
been like eating bone dust for, I don't know, 4 different
I'm
times
picturing
now.
one of those scenes in like those dumb comedies where like a big thing of powder just like puffs up in somebody's face and they're just covered like. Oh.
Yep.
Vera just kind of looks over at Chimeran. Sorry.
Is this cremated remains or is this cocaine?
Little column A, little column B.
We'll let
brown,
you
brown.
know in a few minutes.
Yes. Exactly. Okay.
And then once that's done, she's going to what did she do? 45 and we have 60 on the horses. 50, 55, 60. She's trying to get as close to the group as she can then.
All right. That is Vera Sylvie.
Sylvie is going to fly across the gap. Make things easier. Yeah, she's going to fly here. She wants to also kind of go down so that she's not quite so high up, just in case something happens. So she wants to be about like maybe 10 feet off of the ground. So still a little bit, but she's then going to, oops, here. She's then going to hit the skeleton that's right to her right with another one of these lightning attacks. Just try to keep her spells as much as possible. It's a 13 to hit.
What was the target you were targeting again?
The one
Was
to
it
her
a soldier?
right. The
Okay.
soldier, yeah.
A
Soldier
13
6.
will not hit.
Okay. Just gonna try again to hit with her second attack. It's a 27.
That, on the other hand, will absolutely hit.
And then that is going to do 11 points of lightning damage.
Okay. And that will take him out.
I imagine you see just like this arc of lightning strike across his skeleton, and then a Sylvie emerges from the mist, and the bone dust debris that Vera had just kicked up. So she comes out like, Storm from the X-Men. And that is her turn.
Fantastic. All right. Chimeran, you're up.
Chimeran gets up from the grappled thing, spitting out bone dust. I'm going to take that 5-foot step forward and stab into skeletal soldier number 9. 16
Test
to hit
your might. Yes, you hit.
for 11 points.
Okay, and you kill him.
So it's like we see just a 5-foot step, jab right into it. Thing crumbles, and then Chimeran's going to turn and move towards the last soldier standing. Sorry, I can't see. I don't have another attack. I'm just getting ready.
Okay.
Bonus to locks, 8 on locks for we'll say skeletal soldier number 7. I can see that his right leg is a little wobbly and weak.
Okay. There are no pikemen. There are no crossbowmen. But we are back to the top of the round with the soldier's turn. This one that you just closed with, Chimeran, is going to greet you with open arms, as it is going to try to grapple you. You can make an athletics or an acrobatics, whichever you would prefer.
Keep rolling off the good numbers into the not so good numbers. That's an 11.
Okay. I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh, don't make me do that. Strength is not my forte. How about a 2?
I mean, a 2, that's a number.
Yeah.
Skeletal soldier number 8 latches onto you, Chimeran, pulling you to the ground, and as it grabs a hold of you, it spins, and the two of you, let me check real quick, yep, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, fall into this ravine.
You hear a very girly scream coming out of Chimeran's mouth. It is octaves higher than your normally hear from him.
Sylvie
Oh, sorry,
wants
go
to
ahead.
use her. Sorry, Sylvie
no,
wants
please.
to use her reaction
Okay.
to cast Featherfall on
Oh,
Chimeran.
fantastic. Okay. What does that look like?
I imagine, because of course Sylvie would have actual feathers in her little sewing kit. I imagine they're like these very fluffy ostrich feathers, and she just takes one and she just very quickly just kind of tosses it like over to Chimeran, and this feather goes like whizzing through the air. And Chimeran, as you feel yourself falling, you see this little feather just kind of slowly begin to encircle you as your speed at which you're falling begins to slow.
Fantastic. All right, so I imagine, like, this thing wraps you up. You hit the ground, and there's like a bounce, and you realize that you're free falling for a second. Like, you bounce out over no ground. And you have just enough time to kind of hit and roll in this kind of steep decline of bones just a few times. A femur kind of whacks you in the shoulder here, and like you come face to face with a skull here, and then it starts to increase in steepness, and you start like leaving the ground for like bouts of time, as you're spinning, and then one of the times you just don't make contact with the ground again for like several seconds, and then you hit and roll and you're airborne again, and again you kind of float until you hit the ground and roll, and it's this almost unnerving pace. However, it's going to prevent you from taking any of the damage that you would have taken. You are definitely making your way down this hill. I say hill, it's a little more steep than that, but okay. We have one other soldier. Let's see here. Okay. Actually, he was here. He is going to 5, 10. Purple snake. 20. Then he's going to swing at you, Guillaume.
I am 40 feet up.
Then he is not going to swing at you, Guillaume, because that would be stupid.
Hey, he might have hops. I don't know.
It's Jordan's skeleton. From downtown. Locks. Instead, he swings at you. What is your armor class currently?
17. Sorry, I'm dying over from
17.
downtown.
He's on
Skeleton
fire.
funkin' dunks on him. Just, yeah.
Okay. So he hit. You're gonna take slashing damage. 4 points of. He stumbles forward. He's technically kind of under Guillaume. So Guillaume, he's kind of like right beneath you as he's attacking Lox. That was all of the soldiers. So Lox, it is your turn.
Okay.
And that's the one with the gibbled leg that I told you about before I felt
Oh,
my
I remember about the leg.
untimely not death.
This leg's going. 13 on the die, 22 total. I'm assuming that hits.
It will.
And it'll be 10 damage.
Okay, describe it.
Ooh, okay, so this skeleton comes charging up and actually gets through my defenses, nicks me a bit with the blade. And I look down, I see that the leg, the weakness that Chimeran had mentioned. Oh, I didn't roll with advantage. It doesn't matter, I killed it. And I just sort of kick out and knock the leg off of this skeleton with my boot. And as it comes down, I just take its head off with a well-placed slice and sever the spinal column. And then I'm going to walk under Guillaume, 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to this pikeman here. Actually, I'll go right there. And I'll go ahead and use my second attack. 23. And the damage will be 8.
Okay. Type an 8. 8. He is still kicking. All right. Guillaume. You're up.
All right. I am going to. I keep trying to click on the Zoom meeting map because that's what I'm like watching for you guys.
Same.
Okay.
Same. I feel your pain.
Yep. Okay. So Chimeran is 45 feet away from me, plus or minus some height. So I am gonna book my ass over there. I don't know if that requires dashing, but I would like to get to Chimeran as soon as possible to get them back into the fight so that they, before they get as far as they could get.
Sure. Okay.
But actually what I will do is I will get. Oh, I don't have a save spell, do I? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly over there and try to help Chimeran separate from. Are they still grappled while falling? Like this thing
Yes.
is holding on to the ground.
Yep. It's not holding on to the ground. The two of them are basically like hug around each other almost, and are like rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm to take it. It's not taking any damage either because of the feather fall on
Right.
myself. Yeah.
Right. And it weighs, I mean, next to nothing.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to bodily separate them and catch them to try to fly Chimeran back up. Hopefully Chimeran can do the job of separating, because I don't know if I can get close enough. If I can get close enough, I will try to pry them apart or push the skeleton off her.
Okay. Yeah, you have 60 foot of flight and you're 45 away. So
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah,
plus height, yeah.
Right, plus height,
yeah.
But
what kind of check to separate them?
It's
probably
going to be a strength based, so athletics if you want, but
Okay. I can roll high. I can roll really high. And I'm gonna.
Awesome.
All right. I'm not gonna roll so high.
Next time, right?
Yeah, next time. That's a 3. And so I'm just gonna I'm kind of spinning with them, but flying. trying to like just yank on this like skeleton's bones, trying to pull it away. But
Okay.
maybe I can at least hold them up a bit, like slow the fall even more. I just want to keep us from going, too far away, because I can't carry that much, so it's going to be tough to carry Chimeran back up.
All right. So this little thruple over here now is rolling around. Vera. You're up.
Vera is going to round this corner on her horse. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. She's going to get, she's feeling saucy, 35, 40, 45, 50. She's going to go ahead and Eldritch Blast the one right in front of Locks. $27 to hit.
Definitely connects.
And 9 damage.
Okay, and he was already hurt, so that'll kill him.
Awesome.
Again, right before he's about to stab Locks. Has to be.
Yep. Just that red blast of energy kind of comes flying out of her. Can I take can I even see the skeleton 8, or are they like down below my line of sight?
Yeah, they would be
like
kind of like down
right?
off the side of the cliff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then she'll just kind of nod to Locks as she sees that skeleton shatter in front of him and move up another 10 feet.
All right. Excellent. That was Vera, so it is Sylvie's turn.
Can Sylvie see, Guillaume, can she tell that Guillaume is struggling a little bit?
I mean, do you have to be able to see Guillaume to know
I was
that he's
gonna say,
struggling?
I can assume he is like a broom pole in terms of like strength.
That is
No,
very
that's
fair.
a little generous, actually.
It's kind
Yeah.
of when that person
Sylvie's
leaves the
gonna
room
go
to go
over.
do something, you're like, we should probably go with him.
Yeah, Sylvie's like, he could use some help. And it's gonna go over. So the skeleton is still on Chimeran?
Yes, they're still grappled.
Okay. She wants to try and yank him off.
Okay, so it'll be an athletics check, or just straight up strength if you don't have athletics.
I do have athletics. It's a 19.
Okay.
I'm also gonna use my.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna use my reaction. It's a new. Yeah, it's a new turn. I can use my reaction.
Yes.
I'm going to add 5 to it.
Okay. So you absolutely succeed, hands down. So, how do you forcibly separate the two of them?
I imagine that like Guillaume is struggling. This skeleton is just like hanging on, and you just see like a gauntleted arm reach through. I don't know why I imagine this area is full of fog, but it's full of fog right now. You
It
see
absolutely
this
is.
gauntleted arm with these like encrusted or embroidered in like sapphires, just clutch the skeleton and just yank it back into the mist. And you hear the distant, after a few seconds, you hear the distant sounds of bones clattering.
I almost imagine like this gauntlet that you're talking about, like just grabbing a hold of like the spine, like ribs between the fingers, and just like pull straight back. Absolutely. Yeah, there's like this cascade of like bone on bone and like bone on wood noise as they kind of like rain down far below.
And then both Chimeran and Guillaume, you just see Sylvie's face emerge through this mist.
Thanks. Those things are stronger than they look. strong tendons, I think. I don't know how it works. I didn't take anatomy yet.
I think there's this moment where like Chimeran, like the other two have fly on them. You have feather fall.
Yeah,
Cast
I'm
on you.
falling slowly.
So like you're slowly dropping as like Sylvie and Guillaume are like bickering with each other again.
Like,
and then they both just
Yeah,
reach
just
down
a
and
quick
grab a
one.
hold of you.
Just like
a quick line or two,
either
and then like,
side.
oh shit! Just a dive down, like, I got you, buddy. Come on, let's all head back. Sylvie, if you could give me a hand, he's a little heavier than I thought.
like a little help here.
Yeah. Sylvie grabs like his other side of his shirt, and we both, go to fly Chimeran back.
I think Chimeran, so Guillaume's got one side and Sylvie's got the other, but Chimeran has reached and put both of his hands around Sylvie because, nestled in your neck. You can
Poor
carry me
Guillaume.
back.
Just instantly. It's like,
Yeah,
thanks,
and I
Papa.
imagine that like immediately, like upon that happening, he's like, "So, Blue Cavern, it's kind of creepy. It's yep, it's interesting place.
I
I
just
love
We
imagine
the
almost stuck
idea.
up there."
Chimeran's
love
also
the-
like, "Thank you for saving me," and he's just talking to Sylvie.
I love the idea that Guillaume just doesn't let go. Like he just doesn't like
He's-
make
he's
the
like-
situation.
He's like holding up like the corner of Chimeran's cloak. Like he's helping.
You're welcome for the assist.
No, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. All right, let's see here. We are nearing the end of the round of combat. There are no current enemies on the field, and I know that Matt has a hard out coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So, do we want to go ahead and call it here and then pick up where we are next time?
Sounds good to me.
That sounds good.
Yeah? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Then let's do that. I'm going to leave this just the way that it is. I'm going to switch us back over to our normal overlay. So yeah, this was a blast, y'all. This was a lot of fun. I'm really happy that that we kind of get to take this game in this direction and play around a little bit with maps and tokens and stuff. I do a lot of that with my home group. We play with miniatures and terrain and things like that. And I used to run a lot of play-by-post games online in forums and stuff where I used a lot of battle maps and things for the game. So I'm really happy to kind of get that on streaming on the channel a little. So yeah, it is a lot slower. So hopefully we can keep it interesting and fun throughout. But I'm having a blast with it so far. So I'm going to pass things back over to my players so that they can give any kind of parting words that they would like before we'll call it an evening. So let's start with Matt first so that he can duck out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And holy shit, this game was so fun. I there will always be a part of me that loves maps and minis and being a little bit more tactical with combat. And that just it scratches an itch for me. So I had a lot of fun tonight. I could have fought my way up that mountain all day, just fighting those skeletons. They keep popping them up. I'm like, all right, let's go. But yeah, seriously, so fun. Thank you, Jeremy, as always, for all of the effort you put into your games, not only with the just the narrative aspect, but like cool maps. You had tokens ready to go for everything, like spell effects. Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. So yeah, this game was great. Thanks, everybody. I'll pass it off to whoever's next.
You get to make that call. You're in the seat of power. Who's next?
Oh no.
It's all you.
This power will go immediately to my head. I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna come from downtown. I'm gonna go all the way to the other corner of the overlay here and throw it over to Karen.
I Oh, this was such a fun game. It was a blast. I mean, you guys never ever disappoint. It's so much fun playing with each and every one of you. And Jeremy, your games are just chef's kiss. I love being in them. I love the story. I love everything. This was a lot of fun. Can't wait for next time. I'll pass it on to M.
Yeah, echoing all of that. I am a huge fan of Owlbear Rodeo. We use it a lot for our other game, and it's great to have that visual. I find it really helps make things a little bit smoother, so that the players aren't like, wait, where am I? Where is like everyone else again? Which Theater of the Mind has its own like great things about it, but I love a good map. So awesome. And yeah, like Matt said, awesome having tokens all put together. Very, very fun. So thank you. I will pass it to Kenya.
All right. Just to kind of, parrot what everyone else said. Wonderful time. As always, I always look forward to this game every month. I find myself wishing it was more than once a month, but at the same time, keeps it, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So then when we're here together, it's more special. But love the situation. I love the maps too. It was a good time. We never do this kind of stuff in this game, so it was a nice kind of change up to pace and stuff. And I do want to say though that like that first hour and a half or so, the first part of game, man, with those narrative beats and stuff, and everybody's insanely creative characters and what's scary here and what's the mood, like it just all those narrative things hit so well, and then we went into this combat, so it really felt like a really well-rounded game tonight. I really had a lot of fun. And I'm gonna pass it over to the new papa on the street, Mr. Guillaume. Wait, that's not Guillaume. Austin's the dad. Guillaume is not. Well, Guillaume might be the father, but
Well,
we're not gonna
who
worry about
knows?
that right now.
Who knows? And as he would say, who cares? That's probably not true. I had such a blast today. It's always so much fun playing this game, and like everybody said, it is always fun to do something different in a game. And like I barely get to like play with maps, and so it's always super fun when you get to bust one out. Um, the thing that I always run into with combat is I'm always so like I gotta conserve all my resources, and I'm like I also need to do all my cool spells. So like I gotta find the balance there. I'm working on it. I'm trying to cast things more. But this is super fun. I'm loving this already. And holy shit, I love that like sword light overlay. It's just the coolest thing. That like it's the coolest goddamn thing. Yeah, the like stained glass look. So dope. Jeremy, as always, you put in so much work to this game, and I appreciate it so much because it's always just such a blast, and it's always so clearly, lovingly thought out and put together. And it shows every time, and I really appreciate it. And everybody else, you are all so fun to play with, and it's always just the best time. Highlight of my month every month. So thank you all so much, and I'll pass it back to Jeremy.
Absolutely. I echo all of the sentiments. Just the fact that again, like every month, I know that regardless of how we're gonna do it, regardless of what I'm gonna throw at you, you're all gonna just pick up the ball and run with it as far as you can. And I knew that the front half of the game was going to be a lot of leaning on y'all's creative riffing, because the last part of the session was going to be so heavily focused on combat and roles. So I was really happy to be able to give y'all the reins to help build the tension and make this place even scarier than I had already tried to do with my descriptions and the artwork and things. So But again, like I know that that's exactly what I can count on for you guys, is to build that mood, regardless of what we're going for. So thank you for being the kinds of players that are always willing to do that, and take an earnest joy in doing that, because that makes it a lot more fun for me, to sit here and watch, be surprised. So thank you. Yeah, I had an absolute blast with this. I'm really happy that this was the decision that we decided to go with. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into the castle proper and how that's gonna play out. So thank you all very, very much. For anybody who tuned in this evening, whether you watched live with us, or whether you may have maybe tuning in at some point in the future, it is deeply appreciated that somebody out there is watching and enjoying us goofing off and rolling dice for a little while. So do all the stuff that the algorithm likes to see. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the link around, talk about it with your friends, etc., etc. It helps the channel grow, yeah, which encourages me to keep doing this. So thank you very much. Kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to people in the world. Definitely needs more of that in it. So please go out and be kind to one another. And with that, I think that's everything that we need to do this evening. So I'm going to close it out with your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.